you come by? I'm waiting in line. I don't care, and you may look the other way.
In the constellation of pop music stars, some shine with a quieter light. Maurice Gibb was one such star, a musical genius who preferred the shadows to the spotlight, yet helped create some of the most iconic sounds of the 20th century. Behind the soaring falsetto and infectious rhythms that defined an era, Maurice's masterful musicianship laid the foundation for over 200 million records sold worldwide. His story is one of extraordinary talent, profound resilience, and the power of staying true to oneself while helping others shine. The early years. Born on December the 22nd, 1949 in Douglas, Isle of Man, Maurice Ernest Gibb came into the world with an extraordinary gift and a lifelong companion. His twin brother Robin arrived 35 minutes after him, joining older brother Barry in what would become one of music's most legendary families. From their very first breaths, the twins shared an almost supernatural connection that would later translate into their perfectly matched harmonies. The Gibb family's early years in Manchester, England, were humble but filled with music. Their father Hugh was a drummer and band leader, while mother Barbara sang and encouraged her son's musical pursuits. Living in a working-class neighbourhood, the family often struggled to make ends meet, but Hugh and Barbara always found ways to nurture their son's emerging talents. Maurice showed an innate musical ability from the start. While his brothers gravitated towards singing and songwriting, young Maurice displayed a remarkable talent for understanding musical instruments. By age 5, he was already picking out melodies on the family's old piano. His father noted how Maurice could instantly grasp the rhythm of any song he heard, a gift that would later prove invaluable to the Bee Gees' success. The brothers began performing at local venues, with Maurice often playing tea-chest bass, a homemade instrument that would spark his lifelong love of bass guitar. Their first public performance came at the Gaumont Theatre, where they earned pocket money miming to records during cinema intervals. Even then, Maurice's natural ability to arrange songs and coordinate the group's performances showed hints of the musical architect he would become. But it wasn't in the cold streets of Manchester where the Bee Gees' story would truly begin. Instead, it would take a journey to the other side of the world to spark one of music's greatest success stories. The Australian years. In 1958, the Gibb family embarked on what they hoped would be a new beginning in Australia. For 9-year-old Maurice, the sun-drenched shores of Brisbane couldn't have been more different from Manchester's industrial landscape. The family settled in Redcliffe, Queensland, where their father found work promoting local speedway racing events. Despite the dramatic change in environment, one constant remained: the brothers' dedication to music. It was in Australia that Maurice truly found his instrumental voice. While Barry and Robin dominated the microphone, Maurice became the group's musical anchor. He developed a sophisticated ear for arrangement and began mastering multiple instruments. Starting with the piano, he soon added guitar, bass, and organ to his repertoire. This versatility would become his trademark and proved essential to the group's evolving sound. The brothers' first break came when they caught the attention of local DJ Bill Gates, who was impressed by their natural harmonies and stage presence. Maurice, though younger than Barry and more reserved than Robin, stood out for his musical proficiency. Their first television appearances on the Australian show, Cottage to Casa, gave them a taste of fame. But it was their regular performances at the Redcliffe Speedway that helped them build a loyal following. By 1963, the group had secured their first recording contract with Festival Records. Maurice, now 13, was already showing signs of the innovative musician he would become. His experimentation with different instruments and arrangements helped shape their early hits like Wine and Women and I Want Home. The brothers also landed their own television show, The Joey Bishop Show, where Maurice's ability to adapt and arrange music for television became invaluable. The Australian years were crucial in forming Maurice's musical identity. While his brothers focused on crafting melodies and lyrics, he developed a deep understanding of musical structure and harmony. This period also saw him growing more confident in his abilities, though he maintained the quiet, steady demeanour that would characterise his entire career. The challenges of establishing themselves in a new country had forged a stronger bond between the brothers, particularly between Maurice and his twin Robin. By 1966, the Gibb brothers had become one of Australia's most popular acts, but they knew their destiny lay beyond the continent's shores. With several hit singles under their belt and growing in their abilities, they set their sights on returning to England. Maurice, now an accomplished musician, was ready to take on the world stage. Rise to global fame. 1967 marked the Bee Gees' return to England, a homecoming that would catapult them to international stardom. For Maurice, now 17, London's vibrant music scene opened up a world of possibilities, immersing himself in new sounds and technologies that would shape their future success. The group's breakthrough came with New York Mining Disaster 1941, their first international hit. Maurice's innovative bass lines and keyboard work gave the song its haunting depth, establishing a pattern that would define their sound. While Barry and Robin's vocals soared, Maurice's instrumental arrangements created the solid foundation their harmonies built upon. The late 1960s saw the group release a string of hits, including Massachusetts, I've Got to Get a Message to You, and Words. Maurice's contribution went far beyond playing instruments. His understanding of studio technology and arrangement helped craft their sophisticated sound. He developed a particular talent for layering instruments and creating complex harmonies that set the Bee Gees apart from their contemporaries. During this period, Maurice pioneered the use of the Moog synthesizer, becoming one of the first pop musicians to master this revolutionary instrument. In the studio, he earned a reputation as the technical expert, often spending hours perfecting arrangements and exploring new sonic possibilities. Despite his essential role, he often found himself overshadowed by his brothers in public perception, yet industry insiders knew him as the group's secret weapon. By the mid-1970s, Maurice had helped guide the Bee Gees to over a dozen international hits, maintaining his role as the group's quiet anchor through their rise to fame. His technical expertise and ability to mediate between his brothers' strong personalities made him indispensable to their continued success. As the decade progressed, his pioneering work with electronic instruments would help shape the sound that would define the disco era. The disco era. The transformation of the Bee Gees into disco kings wasn't just a change of style, it was a complete reinvention, with Maurice Gibb as its technical architect. The evolution began with Jive Talkin' in 1975, where Maurice's innovative bass line, inspired by the sound of his car crossing a bridge, birthed their new sound. This fusion of everyday inspiration with studio technology would define their disco period. Saturday Night Fever in 1977 marked their watershed moment. Maurice's contributions were crucial. His bass lines provided the pulsing foundation that made songs like Stayin' Alive and Night Fever irresistible. While Barry's falsetto grabbed headlines, Maurice's intricate musical architecture and mastery of synthesizers created the lush, layered sound that defined the era. Behind the scenes, unprecedented success took its toll. Maurice's battle with alcoholism intensified, though his musical precision never wavered. The group's command of the charts was staggering. By 1978, they were responsible for writing and producing over 15% of the songs on the Billboard Hot 100. Maurice's role expanded as he produced for other artists. His understanding of both traditional musicianship and modern recording technology making him invaluable in the studio. On stage, Maurice's versatility shone as he seamlessly switched between instruments, often within the same song. His ability to recreate complex studio arrangements live cemented the Bee Gees' reputation as consummate performers. Through it all, he maintained his characteristic humility, more interested in perfecting their sound than claiming credit for his innovations. The disco era may have waned, but Maurice's sophisticated production techniques and arrangements would influence popular music for decades, proving that electronic instruments and traditional musicianship could create something entirely new and enduring. Beyond the spotlight. As the disco backlash hit in the early 1980s, Maurice Gibb's resilience became the Bee Gees' secret weapon. While facing radio bans and public ridicule in America, he channeled his energy into his Miami home studio, transforming it into a creative sanctuary where musical boundaries dissolved under his innovative touch. The decade brought personal triumph as Maurice overcame his battle with alcoholism, bringing renewed clarity to his music and family life. Though the Bee Gees' American spotlight had dimmed, their international success continued, powered by Maurice's evolving technical mastery and production skills. His reputation as a producer grew steadily, collaborating with artists like Jimmy Ruffin while pioneering digital recording techniques. The 1987 album ESP showcased Maurice's ability to bridge the Bee Gees' signature sound with contemporary trends, particularly in tracks like You Win Again, where his arrangements breathed new life into their classic style. The 1990s saw Maurice emerge as a respected mentor to younger artists, his Miami studio becoming a pilgrimage site for musicians drawn to its unique blend of vintage equipment and cutting-edge technology. His early innovations gained renewed appreciation as hip-hop producers sampled his distinctive bass lines and electronic artists acknowledged his pioneering synthesizer work. This chapter of Maurice's career revealed him as more than just a member of the Bee Gees. He became a musical polymath whose influence rippled through generations. His ability to embrace new technology while honoring traditional musicianship kept him creatively vital and relevant long after the disco lights had faded. Personal life and legacy. Maurice's personal journey wove a complex tapestry of triumphs and challenges. His first marriage to singer Lulu flourished in the spotlight of 1960s London, but crumbled under the pressure of their competing careers. Through this public heartbreak, Maurice discovered profound lessons about love and fame that would shape his future. His second marriage to Yvonne Spenceley in 1975 brought him the stability he craved. Together in their Miami home, they raised their children Adam and Samantha, creating a sanctuary where Maurice could indulge his passions beyond music. He became known in their community for his quirky hobbies, from paintball tournaments to his elaborate model train collections, revealing a playful spirit behind his serious musical facade. Despite his global fame, Maurice remained remarkably grounded. His struggle with alcoholism in the early 1980s became a turning point, leading him to embrace sobriety with quiet determination. Rather than hide this challenge, he used his experience to help other musicians facing similar battles, becoming a respected voice in recovery circles. Behind the scenes, Maurice played the crucial role of peacemaker within the Bee Gees. His natural diplomacy and wit helped navigate the complicated dynamics of working with his brothers. The devastating loss of their youngest brother Andy in 1988 tested these bonds, but Maurice's steady presence helped hold the family together through their grief. His sudden death in 2003 at age 53 came as a profound shock. What began as routine surgery evolved into a tragic loss that reverberated through both his family and the music world. Maurice left behind not just a legendary musical legacy, but a powerful example of how to face life's challenges with grace, humor, and unwavering determination. Lasting impact. Maurice Gibb's influence on popular music extends far beyond the Bee Gees' chart success. His innovative bass lines and keyboard arrangements from the disco era continue to influence artists across genres. Modern producers cite his pioneering studio techniques, particularly his early adoption of synthesizers and layered production approach, as foundational to contemporary music. His technical legacy thrives in recording studios worldwide, where his methods of bridging traditional and electronic music remain relevant. The Bee Gees' music has found new life in the 21st century, with fresh audiences discovering the sophistication behind their hits. Maurice's bass lines in songs like Stayin' Alive and More Than a Woman are studied as masterclasses in groove and arrangement. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1997, Maurice's contributions to over 200 million records sold globally cement his impact on popular culture. His legacy proves that sometimes the quietest voices in music can have the most profound and lasting influence on its evolution. Maurice Gibb never sought the spotlight, but his light shone nonetheless. Through his musical genius, personal resilience, and quiet determination, he helped create a sound that would define an era. His legacy lives on, not just in timeless hits, but in the countless artists who continue to find inspiration in his work.